Hey, it's Monster, one half of your dynamic hosting duo of the Nerdy Man Room Show. Proudly bringing you another Man Room Short. Enjoy, and as always, please remember, viewer discretion is advised.
The one that was more my speed and that I went in for is this Power Rangers Lightning Collection exclusives they had. There's a Lord Draken helmet, which looks really cool.
God, it looks so good.
My only problem.
I want to get it, but I just, man, I hate pre-order from GameStop. It is.
I haven't had too many issues with theirs other than their timing is usually wrong. They'll put a date on there, and that date will be like 2 months early, and they'll just sit there and tell you, oh, it's pushed back to here. It's like everybody else says it's this date. Why did you pick 2 months earlier? I like that helmet, and I actually did pre-order it as well as the next item we're going to talk about. But my only concern with those helmets that they keep making is they're a little small for my big old head, for one. But for two, the paint apps and the actual sculpting on the Pink Ranger one were terrible. Now, I don't know if that's because of when it came out and it's in the middle of the pandemic and things were going on and they just had troubles with the production, but it looks nothing like the production model that they put up there for, hey, here's our picture of it, come buy it. Now, I'm hoping they don't do the same with the Lord Draken. If they do, you might be in a better position to wait.
Well, I've only ordered 2 of their helmets because I went in. I got the original green and the red Ranger. Who was that? That was done for
Bandai.
Yes, I got those, and they're amazing. And they fit large gourds like these. But I did buy the White Ranger when it came out, and it is super small. And just even about, I mean, it's not like I'm going to wear the damn thing around the house or nothing. No, maybe not too much. But it doesn't look as good next to the others because it looks out of sync and out of scale. You can tell the difference drastically.
See, yeah, mine are still in box, and you could tell it in box too because the Bandai boxes are huge, and then you get to the White Ranger on it. Like the bookshelf I have on top of, they're on the very top shelf, and that's one of these 6-foot black bookshelves from Walmart. You get to the top of it, and from there to the ceiling, there's very little gap between the red and the green ones. And the white one, I could set a whole nother box of helmet on top of it. I was like, man, that looks a whole lot smaller. Now, I don't know how much it has to stand, how much it has to helmet without taking them out and comparing them, but I do know I bought somebody the red one for a birthday gift last year or the year before. And I got it on a clearance sale and got it for them for a birthday gift, and they got it out, and I was like, I don't know how anybody gets their head in it because I couldn't get mine in there. If I tried, I looked at it, I was like, no, I'm not even trying.
Well, with Lord Zed, they created that. So I don't know if maybe they just did that because Lord Zed's so much bigger than the Rangers.
Maybe so.
But like that thing, it's kind of wonky on my head. It's a big, but I don't know. I got a bad feeling they're going to just retool the White Ranger helmet just because.
That might be what they're doing. I went ahead and went in for it just because I was like, that's something I'd put in my collection, so I want it. But I did regret it a little bit afterward because the price increased. It's like, oh,
I figure, like Big Rob said, that'll be one you catch on clearance there at some point. And that's what I'm going to gamble for. It's rare I gamble on something I really want. I'm going to gamble on a clearance Lord Draken helmet.
And I'll say this, it has not. So I bought mine through Hasbro Pulse because I got the early bird and all that. Now, The issue I found with that is normally when the stuff comes up like that, it's exclusive, and it's it's a limited quantity on Hasbro Pulse because we're going to sell it in the store too. It sells out immediately. It was on there until like Sunday or Monday before it sold out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's usually not the case. Now, it may be the price tag that's with it, but the other item they put out, and I don't think we even mentioned it, but it's a Trini and Jason Yellow and Red Ranger 2-pack where they've swapped colors. It's actually from one of the comic stories. It's like a 2 or 3 issue story inside the comics. It sold out the same day. It sold out on Hasbro Pulse within the first.
Well, see, that's what I was about to ask you. Do you think that maybe they flooded the market with this property to the point of where it's starting to wean off a little bit as far as the demand?
Yeah, so we were looking. So let's take an aside because I actually bought a bunch of. So the prop stuff, yes, I'm not sure how much of a demand you get for that. Usually it sells pretty well, but at the same time it gets more expensive. But like for the figures, I am not sure how they're still even selling these figures at the level they are, because I started a Forever Red set. I wanted to do a Red Ranger one with all the Red Rangers that they make. Now, I'm not doing every version. Like, there's 3 different of the Mighty Morphin Red Ranger already. I'm not doing all 3 versions. I'll do 2 versions. One will be just the Red Ranger, because I'm not taking the helmet off, so I don't need a different one for Rocky and Jason. I don't want the sparkly one in my display setting, because it doesn't match the rest of the characters, because they made that metallic armor, sparkle fest one. So I'm not doing that.
Give you that spandex look.
Yeah, I want the regular look, right? But I will do the Red Ninja Ranger in the ninja outfit, because that was a different version of the Red Ranger that I feel like was a different costume altogether. So okay, I'll do that one separately. But I was putting that together over the weekend and just setting them up, and I was like, man, so who hasn't been made? And I got to looking at what teams have been made. They've only completed 3 actual teams of Rangers in the entire Lightning Collection setup so far. And I'm like, and most of the ones they put out have been repaints and recolors of the Mighty Morphin team. I'm like, how many? I looked on my shelf. I was like, I've got 2 shelves of Mighty Morphin figures on my bookcase. And I was like, there's 3 different, 4 different pink Mighty Morphin Pink Rangers, and one of them's in a 2-pack, and then there's 3 singular pack ones. I was like, why are you making so many of these?
I would say 75% of the demand for those Lightning figures are from people our age or near it, and they only want the Mighty Morphin. Like I myself, I'm a Mighty Morphin up to Zeo, and you lose me after Zeo. I've come back for a few, seasons here or there, where like, or episodes, per se, where like the season of, what was it, Dino Thunder or whatever it was that had Tommy on there where he's Professor Oliver.
Yeah.
Okay, I watched that season. And I kind of, the villain Doug was enough. And I almost come back for this last season or so that's had Lord Zed, just because I was such a Lord Zed fan. But throughout the years, they just lost me.
It was only 1 episode, so you haven't missed anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I was under the impression that they were kind
there's rumors he's going to be
the main villain.
There's rumors he's going to be returning in the 2nd season of that, which they just put the first half on Netflix, the first 11 episodes on the 4th of March. So he may be back.
I'll wait. If he's not back for more than 1 or 2 episodes, I want to watch his return.
Yeah, but I was looking at those and I'm like, okay, you've made 3 teams, Mighty Morphin, Zeo, and then Space, which in Space was one of the more popular seasons. So I get why you made those 3 teams. But you keep going back and rehashing the same ones. Just give me, as a completionist collector or even a fan of the other series, just make some of the ones from the other ones. You've got some lines they've made absolutely none of so far, and then some where they've made 1 character, or 1 character's coming, like Wild Force. I didn't even like the season, and it was one of the anniversary seasons, but they've only made 1 of those, and he's coming out in like November. Like, why not make another one out of that, or make somebody from Ninja Storm, which hasn't had a single character made yet? But they just keep pushing the same ones over and over, and then they'll eventually reach out and like, oh, you had the red Lost Galaxy Ranger. Now we'll give you the blue one. The only difference is the head sculpt. Everything else on that body is the exact same. It's even the same paint scheme, just blue instead of red.
They're one of the more, retoolable properties. They are.
Oh, yeah.
Once you produce a body of no matter what series it is, you just do heads after that.
Yeah, but they're not even doing that. They just keep wandering off into something else, and then they never come back and finish. Like when they first started Lightning Collection, the show that was on TV at the time was at Beast Morphers. And they haven't even finished that team. It's like they made 1 in every wave up until that one stopped airing, and they're like, move on. We'll never finish that set because.
See, that would have probably been the better strategy, was instead of flooding us out with the Mighty Morphin, which everyone wanted, and even the Zeo, spread those out. 1 per whatever wave you want to do, because you have so many different waves you could do of the various teams. Why not have 3 or 4 of those and then 1 legacy character per wave or whatever, and it's going to make the demand be there.
Yeah, and they did that, with the Mighty Morphin. It was like one a wave, and then they started 2 a wave, and they got finished pretty quickly. But then it was like, let's rehash them. I was like, well, if you'd have just done 1 every time, we'd have been better off to begin with.
Yeah.
But